Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim World 4 news video. Today we are going to be having a look at the newly announced route, the Maintalbahn. Lots of people had speculated this was already going to be a thing based on the tease of the unit that you're looking at right now in one of the feature highlight videos, which I made a community post about, but you know, they didn't give that much long to fester, and they've come out with the roadmap today, and I'll do my full video on the roadmap tomorrow. Just wanted to focus on this route in particular for now. We'll get straight in. So the Maintalbahn is Aschaffenburg to Miltenberg. We already have Aschaffenburg in the game already in Maintalbahn. It's 37 kilometers long with 14 stations, so on the shorter side very much. It's a mostly single track unelectrified line. So sort of, I guess, comparable to the Niedertalbahn, but in the modern day. It comes with the Deutschbahn class 642-0 and the Deutschbahn class 363. And for owners of Niedertalbahn, you will receive the class 628 in traffic red livery. From what I could tell, the 628 operates a lot of the services, so I would assume for people who don't have Niedertalbahn, you'd get either the 642 covering 628 services, or just you'd have half the timetable missing. I might be wrong there. I could, of course, be wrong. I haven't found access to a timetable that clearly shows that, but Wikipedia seemed to think that the local runs were done by the 628 and the express by the 642, I believe. Anyway, I won't linger on that because I don't know. We'll look at the 642 itself. These are part of the Siemens D0 Classic family of DMUs. The two car sets put out 600 kilowatts, roughly, depending on... it could be slightly more or slightly less, depending on their power plants. In total, they've got a top speed of 120 kilometers an hour, which I believe is the same as the 628 from Niedertalbahn. I've read they handle quite well, so they will probably be quite fun to drive. I have noticed as well that whoever took these screenshots committed a cardinal sin by having the tail lights and headlights on at the same time. Whoever did these screenshots needs to be fired immediately. That is an unforgivable sin. I can't believe that. I can't believe this is official photographs. I can't believe it. So yeah, the timetable. I don't think there will be more than 150 services unless Dovetail do this sneaky split them in half like they did on Antelope Valley to artificially inflate the size of the timetable. Based on my own sort of surface level research, which again, I couldn't find a timetable for this route. Deutschbahn don't seem to publish timetables for most of their routes. I had to just stick into their journey planner trains between Aschaffenburg and Miltenberg and count them. But I wouldn't assume there are more than 150 because I counted about 20 trains in each direction per day, so maybe 40 or 50 passenger trains accounting for any kind of non-revenue service. They were the revenue services were 30 minutes for, I presume, express, 45 minutes for semi-fast, and then 60 minutes for all stops. I couldn't possibly say how many freight services, but based on how many there are in Niedertalbahn, I wouldn't assume there are many. So yeah, that's how I get to the under 150 figure. So not a huge timetable, but I'd expect that for a single track line. Certainly better than whatever piss poor timetable Antelope Valley has. And finally, my not finally, but more or less finally, my thoughts on this route. So I think it's good that there are more regional German lines and more diesel territory. I think it's fantastic that we're seeing a larger range of trains in the game. And it is cool, of course, seeing more diesel trains. I think that's sort of widely held belief in the community that more diesel trains for Germany is never a bad thing. I would still like to see some German rapid transit lines like Munich or Berlin S-bahn, really any S-bahn or perhaps a U-bahn. I think that would be very cool. I'm surprised they still haven't done anything really since Munich Augsburg, but that wasn't really rapid transit. No, it wasn't rapid transit. It was just a high-speed route with rapid transit on the side. I am a bit frustrated that Dovetail don't seem to be including anything other than the V60. It seems to be their sort of German equivalent of the Class 66s. Whenever they fall back on an existing... I get it, they're trying to reuse existing stuff, but maybe just, work on more stuff. Like Train Sim Germany are working on the Ludmilla. Maybe if Dovetail wanted to lend a hand to that, just to speed the development process along and make sure that we have access to that wide variety of rolling stock, especially diesel rolling stock. The detail looks passable for this route, nothing to write home about, but equally not terrible. But it does still feel a little bit too bright, much like in Vorarlberg. One of the cab screenshots, I had sort of struggled to really tell what was illuminated, what wasn't. I reckon it'll be a bit of a pain in the ass reading the display screens in the cab of the 642. Luckily, there aren't any in the 628. And finally, it is actually quite a welcome change seeing Dovetail applying essentially free reskins to existing content so that they can be reused in future content. Hopefully, this is a sign that they'll start doing this to British content, and we might start seeing 158s getting reliveried and stuck onto new services. Because usually this is the sort of thing they'd charge for. I'm thinking Horseshoe Curve, even though that's not really Dovetail. I'm thinking the Union Pacific packs and all of the other loco bundles that are basically just paid reskins. And it's good, very good to see that Dovetail are moving away from that. And finally, some retail information. It will cost 25 quid, $30 and 30 euro. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this, just by memory, this is less than we've been paying for routes recently. So potentially this is the new normal route price. Of course, it is a slightly shorter route than normal, so perhaps they're just slightly undercharging to compensate for that. Even though, what am I talking about? Even so, I'm not really complaining about the price. Compared to other things they've offered, it seems quite reasonable-ish. And there's no release date as yet, but it is in the up to 3 months section of the roadmap. But I would expect, given on how far along it looks in all of these screenshots, I would expect to see this releasing well before the end of the year. That's all I have to say really on the Maintalbahn. Of course, we'll learn more about this in the coming weeks, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.